Hello everybody in YouTube land and welcome to a campaign unboxing for the Drowned City. I did this with Scarlet Keys, but I did not do this for Hemlock Vale because Canada got the Hemlock Vale box like I think a month, maybe a month and a half after everywhere else. But up here in the Great White North and a few other places in the world, we actually got the Drowned City box early. So we're about to record the campaign in about an hour. And I'm beyond excited, and I wanted to check out to see what was in the box. I have fun doing unboxing videos. I think they're a pretty alright time. Sorry, I'm peeking like crazy. I'm just like apparently a loud boy when it's just me. But I'll try to not scream and shout and let it all out. But we're going to open this up. What I want to do is I want to check out the components. There's something called a Cthulhu board, which I'm pretty interested because it sounds pretty cool. And then I also want to check out the first few pages of the campaign guide to see any rules and mechanics that might exist in this campaign. And last thing I want to do is I'm not going to look at any of the encounter cards in specific, but I want to see the scenario names. I'm very curious to see the names for the scenarios, because I think they do a pretty good job of setting up, like, basically just setting the scene. So, the box is like all other campaign boxes. It's nice and big, and it's like sturdy, and it's going to have probably the exact same insert. So let's open it up and see what is inside. Do we think there's an ad sheet? There hasn't been an ad sheet in forever. So, alright, campaign guide. Oh, actually one thing I wanted to do, are the boxes out here? I wanted to see how many pages the campaign guides are, because this one actually seems smaller than all the others. I'm actually going to pause the video and grab the campaign guides for Scarlet Keys and Hemlock, because I do want to do a direct comparison of those as well. So I'm just going to put that here, and we'll get that 1 second. Okay, let's start there. So, Hemlock Vale, which I think was better on the word count than Scarlet Keys, but I understand was a bit wordy for some people still, is 71 pages at the end of the book. 72 on the last page. That's a good way of looking at it. Scarlet Keys is also 72. So you can see down here, 72 pages for each of those. Drowned City is 56. So notably, a lot less campaign guide for this one, which is, I mean, it feels a lot lighter, which is, I think, potentially, for people who don't like a lot of wordiness in their stuff for this, can be a very good thing. So, thank you for your help. You can go down there now. I was actually very curious about that. So, it's 56 pages. We'll get back to this, though. All right. Here it looks like we got our Cthulhu board and some flood tokens. Alright. I'm actually very excited for the return of flood tokens. We knew there were flood tokens from the back of the box, and also it's assuming with Deep One and the Drowned City, Drowned, we're likely gonna get flood tokens back in here. But no on the back. So here's the Cthulhu board. It looks like, well, that's some nice Aurelia art on the back. But we have the Cthulhu board here with, it looks like 3 spaces for cards. And if I just pick up one of these, look at that, it fits almost perfectly. Stowaway drone. Alright. Alright, so there is the Cthulhu board in all of its glory. I guess like the idea is, why is this here? Is it mechanically relevant, or is it just a nice quality of life thing to have, to just make it like a little bit more exceptional to be able to resolve with this Cthulhu board here? I think stuff like this certainly ain't a bad thing, and it does imply that there's going to be something big happening in the final scenario, which I think potentially could be pretty cool. And then we also got some flood tokens, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 flood tokens. I'm curious how that number compares to Innsmouth. I am going to not punch them out yet, because I'm going to keep those for later, but they can just kind of sit over here. Alright, how do we want to do this? Because I imagine these have the same thing. Let's go to the campaign guide. Let's start there. So, just going to bring this over here. And we're just going to kind of like go through this, and I'll move things on this. I just want to see the mechanics and all the things that we can have here. Alright, the Risen Deep. Oh, there's the scenario names are here too. So let's get the scenario names. The Drowned City is a campaign for ARKHAM HORROR, the card game, for 1 to 4 players. The Drowned City contains the following 9 scenarios: One Last Job, the Western Wall, the Drowned Quarter, Obsidian Canyons, Court of the Ancients, the Apiary, the Grand Vault, Sepulchre of the Sleeper, and the Doom of Arkham. Interesting. So it looks like actually all of the locations, all the scenarios, except for One Last Job and the Doom of Arkham, are actually named after the locations in Rillia we're exploring. Which is, I think, pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty neat. Each of the scenarios may also be played on its own in standalone mode. Let's go! So yeah, Western Wall, Drowned Quarter. So it looks like, because I know from what they implied, is you go from either the west or the east, which is reminiscent of Arkham from Wonderland, Alice in Wonderland, the custom campaign by Beard. So I'm wondering, yeah, if the western and then you go this way. And it looks like actually, so I'm going through here on this on the side over here. The scenarios for all this, the Doom of Arkham is actually 2 parts, which something that I've actually been saying for a while on our channel is that I really want them to separate the final scenarios if they are big and bombastic, which means that this actually could be like exactly what I want. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scenarios, but it looks like you might get 10 scenarios out of this if the final scenario is split into 2. Of course, I do not know if this is the case. This is just me inferring from reading through the campaign guide, the table of contents. The cool little Cthulhu icon for this, and then Flood. I'm going to read, I know how Flood tokens work, but I am going to read this here just in case maybe there's something new, or, you know, just for people who might not know what Flood tokens are. Throughout the campaign, scenario card effects can flood locations. Each location can be one of 3 different flood levels. It is either unflooded, partially flooded, or fully flooded. A location's flood level can be tracked using the double-sided flood tokens included in the campaign box. A location's flood level has no inherent game effect. However, some card effects... Sorry, yeah, you can see that. However, some card effects may change or become stronger while you are at a flooded location, particularly if that location is fully flooded. A location with no flood tokens is unflooded. If a location is partially flooded, place a flood token on it with a partially flooded side, which is this side. If a location becomes fully flooded, place a flood token on this fully flooded side. Or if it's already partially flooded, flip it over to denote this side. If a location's flood level is increased, it changes from unflooded to partially flooded, or from partially flooded to fully flooded. A fully flooded location cannot have its flood level increased. If location flood level is decreased, it changes from fully flooded to partially flooded, or from partially flooded to unflooded. If a location becomes unflooded, remove its flood token. An unflooded location cannot have its flood level decreased. For the purpose of card effects, both partially flooded locations and fully flooded locations are considered to be flooded. So that is pretty standard with what we got here. All right. Artifacts. Ooh, spicy. Sorry for the camera shake. This is just on the, it's on the edge and it's a little bit shaky, so let me just right the camera. Investigators may acquire certain artifact story assets, also referred to as simply artifacts, throughout the course of the Drowned City campaign. I'm actually very excited. Now, once I saw that the campaign guide is only 53 pages, this might be exactly what I was craving. Artifacts functions like any other asset except for the following. Artifacts are never added to an investigator's deck. After resolution scenario, return any artifacts in play to the box. Interesting. When set up a scenario, investigators be instructed to begin play with an earned artifact story asset. Oh, okay. Only artifacts that have been checked off in the artifacts earned section of the campaign log may be chosen during this process. Artifacts have a unique card back, have no cost, cannot leave play, and cannot be chosen to be discarded via scenario card effects. Some artifacts contain alien glyphs. See alien glyphs below. Any text below these glyphs is considered to be blank unless investigators have translated each glyph on the artifact. That's interesting. If investigators if any investigator control of an artifact is defeated, give its control to the nearest surviving investigator instead of removing it from the game. Roger Dodger. Alien glyphs. Let's see what this is about. Throughout the campaign, investigators may be directed to translate a glyph on a second page of the campaign log. In order to do so, write the translated text in the space directly beneath that glyph as directed by the game. A glyph's meaning has no inherent game effect. Some artifacts contain alien glyphs. Any text below these glyphs is considered to be blank unless investigators have translated each alien glyph on the artifact. Most scenarios in the Drowned City campaign will instruct players to set glyph cards aside, out of play. Most glyph cards are double-sided story cards and their counter card type on their front. For the best experience, do not read their story card side unless prompted by the game. I always like the best experience. For the sake of your sanity, do not stare at any alien glyph for longer than 5 minutes at a time. Alright, I'm going to try not to do that. New keywords. Patrol. We know patrol, but I'll read it here for everyone at home. Some enemies in this campaign guide have patrol keyword during the enemy phase. Each already unengaged enemy with the patrol keyword moves to connecting location along the shortest path toward the designated target. If there are multiple targets that qualify as a designated target, the lead investigator may choose which target the enemy moves towards. If an enemy with a patrol would be compelled to move to a location via a path that is blocked by a card ability, that enemy does not move. We also have Relentless. Some enemies in this campaign have the Relentless keyword. This is new. During the enemy phase, after Framework Step 3.3, each enemy with the Relentless keyword that has attacked this phase, even if that attack was cancelled, readies and attacks the investigators it engaged with a second time. Sounds pretty scary and painful. Double strike. Alert. Some enemies in this campaign have the alert keyword. This one I'm not going to read. If you evade an enemy with alert and you fail, that enemy attacks you. It's like retaliate for evading, and we know what seal is. Token bag on standard. I'm curious about this. +1, 0, 0, -1, -1, -1, -1, -2, -2, -3, -4. Skull, skull, tablet, cultist, autofail, elder sign. Seems pretty good. And you're now ready to begin the prologue, which I am not going to get into here. But what I would love to do is check out the campaign guide. Okay, pretty standard, pretty simple. That's a compass. That's a pen. That's an X with a circle. That's where the treasure is. So there are 5 artifacts: barrier, note, obsidian claw, shards of Yclit, title tablet, and grisly mask in quotes. And these are the alien glyphs on the second page. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let's see also the expansion set icons. That can be pretty fun to build some hype. Alien Machinery, the Apiary, Cosmic Legacy, Court of the Ancients, the Deep Ones, Domination, the Doom of Arkham Part 1, the Duke of Arkham Part 2, Dreams, the Drowned Quarter, Elder Mist, I like this Dreams one, Expedition, Flood. I wonder if that's the same expedition from Forgotten Age. Flood, the Grand Vault, the Inescapable. I mean, honestly, I actually would not be opposed if they just reuse treachery cards from other like how we have Whippoorwills and the Psychopomp song appear in the Circle Undone. I think that would be really cool. So Flood, the Grand Vault, the Inescapable, that's spooky. Obsidian Canyons, the One Last Job, Pilgrims, Aurelia, Sepulchre of the Sleeper. I have to learn how to pronounce that word without just giving up in the middle, quietly being like, oh, it's pronounced sepulchre, like sepulchre, I have to not do that. Star Spawn, let's go. Stowaways, which we saw one of those guys right here. This motherfucker right there. Tasks and undersea creatures, and then also the ones from the core set. Super cool. Super cool. All right, let's pull out these things here. Obsidian Canyon, Sepulchre of the Sleeper. I did it again. The Doom of Arkham Part 1. Actually, you know what? I'm going to come into top camera for this one. You can see the names because this camera it's good enough. So Obsidian, the Doom that came to Arkham. Is there a Doom that came to Murder Part 2? No, they're all part of one deck, it looks like. The Apiary. This is a very tiny one. The Sepulchre of the Sleeper. I did it again. Don't worry about it. One Last Job, that's the opening scenario. The Grand Vault, the Western Wall, Court of the Ancients, the Drowned Quarter, and then these are the generic ones. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But this one is a Part 1 and a Part 2. So are we going to be playing this in 2 parts? That's something I'm actually very curious about seeing. So these are the packs that you have here. I actually enjoy that they're all bundled up like this. This is part of the newer thing they do with the new expansions and stuff like that. So yeah. Honestly, like I said, it's now going to be about 40 minutes until we start recording the first episode of this, and I am beyond excited. My hype level is actually really high. Some people might know, if you've watched other videos on our channel, that the Feast of Hemlock Vale has been one of my favorite campaigns in a long time. And I actually recently replayed it, and I still liked it as much as I did my blind play. The final scenario is a little bit chunky, with some of the paths you can take for it, but I think the 6 scenarios leading up to the final scenario that you can play are all very good. And while Hemlock Vale is open world, I think it's not open world, but it's like open in concept, right? It's not a linear adventure. You can choose which scenarios you want to play. I think the scaling for those scenarios are actually pretty good. And I understand and respect the qualms with the prologues, but I actually really enjoy them. But one thing I'm very excited about is I have a lot of faith in this current design team. Like I said, Hemlock Vale is one of my most recent favorites, so I'm very excited for Drowned City to see the follow-up from the design team. But I'm very excited to see what they do with a linear thing. Well, yes, there's a choice, seemingly, if you can go from the west or the east, and I imagine there's going to be scaling depending on that, right? I do think that a linear adventure, I think, is going to be really cool. And how the campaign guide's only 56 pages compared to 71. So that's 15 pages less? That's a noticeable amount. That's a noticeable amount. Yeah. That is everything that we have here in the Drowned City campaign box. Like I said, I don't want to open these up because I'm not here to spoil myself or you. But I'm going to put them all back into this box. Pack it up neatly so we can all see how it all fits. What the hell? That's for the Drowned Quarter. That's a little plot twist. Okay, I can frick with that. This one also has a 2 in the Court of the Ancients. Ooh. So they did some different colored card backs in Longest Night. That one had some different colored card backs, so it's cool to see them kind of revisiting the potential design space that can open. This is from the Drowned City Investigator expansion. This was not part of this, but I am going to also put this in here. So bear with me on that. That wasn't here, but I'm going to be adding it into this. And then this can come back in, and then we go like that. And there we have it. Everything that you have in the Drowned City campaign expansion. I'm hyped as hell. That's all I can really say. I'm very excited. I'm gonna go look through my deck one last time before we get into this, but thanks for watching, everybody. Look forward to the Drowned City campaign expansion. The first episode is going to be coming out on Wednesday, the Wednesday after this video goes live, which I'm pretty sure is April 9th. So look forward to that. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. A huge shout out to all of our patrons once I just find our patron splash thing. Thank you all for your support. You guys all rock so much. You allow me to put as much love as I can into this game and the content I make for this game as I do. So thank you for that. I feel very honored and privileged to be able to do so, and it's all because of you and your support. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.